you're in need of a few dollars, or if you're just interested in saving some money, you came to the right place. And I'm gonna teach you some things right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to Modern Mindset. Outside of fitness and educational videos, financial videos take up a large portion of my YouTube watch time. I find that trying to find the easiest way to save a dollar or two is something that I'm really interested in, and I'm hoping that I can try to convey some of the information I've taken in. I'm a bit frugal with my spending, and I really enjoy trying to find out an easy way to save a dollar or two on just simple purchases. And today I'm going to try to share with you my top 5 tips for saving money in 2021. The number one thing you can do that'll have the largest impact on this video is turning the like button blue. And it really just helps this channel grow, and it only costs you a moment of your time. I did get you there, didn't I? Now, with that out of the way, we can get to the good part of the video. I didn't put these tips in any particular order of importance or anything like that, but the number one tip I have listed is to deal hunt. I'm not telling you to become an extreme couponer by any means. I don't know if you've seen these people. They're super committed, and I'm not about that life. And I'm personally not trying to do coupon calculus on a daily basis. What I'm suggesting you do is look for deals on items that you already purchase regularly. So one thing I like to do is I don't really care for the different brands of protein powders. I just look for whatever one I can find the best deal on and try out their different flavors and see which one I like best. But at the same time, I'm looking for the best deal that I can get. So I'll say like every 1 or 2 days, I'll go and casually browse through Amazon and see if there's any type of protein powders on sale at that moment. Recently, I found a protein powder that's much higher quality than the one I normally get. I normally get the generic GNC brand because, like I said, I'm very frugal and I don't think that whey proteins have too much of a difference between them, but that's beside the point. What I actually ended up finding in a recent purchase was that I found a protein powder that was normally listed at $82, or at least the list price was, and it normally sells on Amazon for about $56. Well, whenever I got on Amazon on that particular day, I found that it was actually 35% off. And if I subscribed and saved, I also got another 10% off. So I ended up getting the protein powder for like $32 or something like that. And it's a protein powder that's much higher quality than the generic GNC brand that I normally get. Another thing you can do that is just as simple but may require some investment on your part is if you go to your store, say it's a Walmart or an Albertsons or some type of Whole Foods style store, you can normally find that they have some reduced priced meats and different types of food like that. Well, for me personally, I was able to find out that Albertsons, if you get there at 6:30 a.m., which I understand is a little crazy, but I usually go after I lift in the morning. I found that if you get there at approximately 6:30, he has just put out all the meat that's at half off. And for me, I don't mind eating different types of meats, and half off just means a great value. So I get my choice of the pickings, and I get to get whatever food's nice, and sometimes I get even higher quality meats for cheaper prices than what I would have gotten some of the lower quality ones. But you, stay away from my store. Go find your own. Number 2, cut back on fast food. And trust me, I know the flavor, the convenience of fast food is very enticing every time you pass it, but it's slowly costing you a small fortune. It was found that 1 in 3 Americans have fast food on a daily basis. And that the average cost of an American's fast food consumption per year is around $1,200. That's $1,200 a year, which could easily fund your next big family vacation that you're trying to look at. If you're not someone who has to go on vacation or anything like that, it's still money that you can apply towards other bills or catch up on debt or anything like that. It's just about saving more money than what you were doing before. Even if you only cut back 50% on your fast food and say you're a part of that average of $1,200 a year, you're saving $50 a month, which may not seem like much, but it is going to make a large difference over time. That $50 can be applied to maybe a bill that you weren't going to be able to pay on time, or maybe a car repair that you needed that you were just holding off on, or anything else you may need. And as an added benefit, removing all this fast food will likely have a overall positive effect on your health. Number 3. Pay off your debt. This is probably one of the most important ones that you can do. The average American has around $5,000 of debt, and the average credit card interest rate on that debt is around 16%. So say if you're only paying around the minimum amount, which is typically about 2% of the overall balance that you have on that card, you're actually paying more towards the interest that you owe on that card than you actually are towards the actual balance. So this balance is just gonna live there forever. It may take you 3 years to pay off $5,000 or something like that, just because you're only paying interest most of the time. This added interest to your bills is basically eating up your money, and it's going to end up forcing you to end up having to use credit again in the future, and it's just going to keep adding and adding. So say if you would be able to pay off the $5,000 and say it took you 3 years, well, you're likely in those 3 years to have some type of emergency payment or emergency bill that comes up, and you're then going to have to use credit again, so then the bill's going to just become larger and larger, where you're still then only paying larger and larger amounts of interest. And just to clarify, I'm not trying to demonize credit cards, because I currently use credit cards for everything. I pay off every single purchase with a credit card because I think credit cards are a good tool, but aren't supposed to be a crutch. So I personally subscribe to the idea that you should never purchase anything on a credit card that you don't have the money for in your actual bank account. Your credit card may have this large amount that you are allowed to spend, but just because it's there doesn't mean you should use it. Number 4. Be intentional with your money. Personally, I feel like most of life should be intentional. That's just how I like it. Some people like to live life on the edge. But I do feel like finance is one of the parts of life that you should always have a plan for your money. Because if you don't, your money's gonna walk outside and go spend itself without you realizing it. There are a few different ways you can monitor and manage the way you spend your money. They have different automated services that connect to your bank account like Mint or EveryDollar. Or you can do another one called the envelope method, which is actually a physical representation of what money you have. Mint and EveryDollar tie directly into your bank account, where they can automatically calculate what you're spending your money on. It could be the extra coffee in the morning from Starbucks, or it can be you're going to eat out too often or anything like that. Mint and EveryDollar will break down those costs and really tell you how much you're spending and where it's going. Although this will give you information on how you're spending, it won't actually directly fix any type of spending issues that you have. Because some people work with a lot of cash, and some people also say that cash isn't real money, or at least they say there's no paper trail with cash, so it's hard to justify that you spent anything. And if you have spending issues, having this physical representation of money can actually help you in a lot of ways, because you're no longer just scanning a card that has this arbitrary amount of money on it. If you're someone who struggles with either of those, the envelope method may be for you. So the way the envelope method works is you get a bunch of different envelopes and you write on them the different titles of bills you have. So say utilities, groceries, mortgage, and stuff like that. And you add the money that's allocated for that particular bill to the envelope. So anytime you have to pay one of those bills, you can go and pull that money from the envelope and then you make that purchase. Say if you have to pay with a card, say it's a utility where they don't take cash, you can go then deposit that money at the bank and then make that direct purchase afterwards. Either of these methods could work for you, but the main reason to implement one of these practices is because you'll actually probably notice that you make all these little purchases that end up adding up over the month. Number 5, automatically save. So this one kind of goes off of number 4 with being intentional with whatever you're doing. And it may not directly be that you're saving money. This is actually almost like the most literal form of that statement, but saving your money automatically into a different bank account can actually help you avoid spending it. I'm not saying that you have to take out a large chunk of money every month, but even if you start out with a small amount, say it's $50, which is say that's what you cut back on your fast food for the month. Say you automatically transfer those $50 into a savings account every month. You have now put a barrier in between you and that money. Yes, you can easily go and transfer that $50 back into your checking account, but that'll likely show that there's other issues outside of just not knowing how to save money. You mostly have a spending issue or something along those lines if you can't just leave the money there and let it accrue. Some banks allow this automated transfer of money between bank accounts after say like a deposit of some sort. But if it doesn't, or yours doesn't, you can easily just transfer it over manually through the banking app or banking website. And like I said, it can be a small amount to start, but in a small amount over time can start to build yourself up an emergency fund. But the whole point is that having some money on the side will allow you to have some wiggle room if anything comes up, say an emergency bill, a hospital visit, you lose your job, anything like that, your AC goes out. Well, now you'll have that money sitting on the side where you won't have to go and tie into debt in order to try to pay off anything like that. I will give one caveat to this one in particular, is if you have any high interest debt, I would suggest you try to pay that off first. Your money will just continue to get eaten up while this debt is alive. If you made it this far, it'd be super dope if you could like and subscribe to the channel. And if you found the video interesting, maybe even sharing it and seeing if I can get out to other people. And if you're wondering about my eye right here, don't worry, I didn't get in a fight or anything, but MMA fighters show no mercy with their eye pokes during Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rolls.
He poked me in the eye. Captain Insano shows no mercy.
I'll see you next week on Modern Mindset. Thank you for watching the video.